Good morning, I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time today talking to you about you and your business. Got a lot to cover. Do want to thank everyone for props for the national television show on the Biz TV network. It is doing very well. My interview on Sunday with the author of the excellent book, best-selling author of the excellent book, News Vesting, can be found over at usdailyreview.com. Make sure you check it out. It's featured there today, and just keep an eye for what's coming up this weekend on the show, on the Biz TV network. All right, something else I'm always excited about is time with Marcus Wagner. He is brilliant at what he does. He's brilliant at helping keeping business running at their optimal state with his company. It's Act 2, that's ACCT. If you put in that extra C, ACCT-TWO.com. Marcus, really glad to have you on. Let's start off with your elevator speech. Tell us about what you do.
Good morning, Kevin. It's great to be here with you. Thanks for having me. So at Act 2, we help companies grow fast and remove a lot of the friction that is associated with growth by helping them automate their finance and accounting processes. We really do two things for our clients. Number one, we provide them with cloud-based accounting software. We're the number one reseller of the Intact accounting solution, which is the fastest-growing cloud-based accounting solution on the market. And the second thing we do is provide what we call business process as a service. And that's where we're essentially not just selling software and allowing our clients to operate it, but we're actually taking on a lot of their finance and accounting processes and doing them for them. So, for example, accounts payable, accounts receivable, billing, general ledger, and the like, so that instead of having the distractions of hiring people and managing an accounting staff, you can just hand those functions over to Act 2. So that's us in a nutshell.
Yeah, very good. And the size range of the companies you help and the verticals that you tend to gravitate towards?
Yeah, we work with companies that are anywhere from, let's say, $5 million in revenue on the low side, 5 or 10 people, small shops, all the way up to about $500 million in revenue and up to, say, 1,000 employees. We work across a wide range of industries, but we do have some sweet spots. Big one for us is software as a service or software and technology companies. Another one is any kind of a services company, professional services, which could be, architecture, engineering, management, consulting, accounting firms, or even industrial or environmental services, oil field services, and the like. And then the other big area that we work in is not-for-profits and faith-based organizations.
Right.
So we have a lot of church customers. We have a lot of not-for-profit customers as well.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Talk a little bit about, first of all, what's happening with your company in 2016.
Well, Kevin, we're very excited. In 2016, we're based here in Houston, and as I'm sure all the listeners have heard, the price of oil continues to drop, and that's really, unfortunately, having a big impact on a lot of people in the Houston area. We've had tens of thousands of layoffs, but fortunately for Act 2, we're forecasting 30 to 40% growth again this year. In 2016, in 2015, we grew 40% year over year versus the prior year. So, and that's really due to a couple of different factors. Number one, this huge migration of people into the cloud for their enterprise software needs. We really have seen a tipping point over the last couple of years in the level of interest that people have in shedding some of their kind of obsolete technology and moving into a more modern accounting system. And the other reason why we see this growth is just because we're so diversified across a wide range of industries. So we're very excited for what 2016 holds for us.
Well, and I would think part of it is the fact that you help save companies so much money in their streamlining ability. I mean, if one of their objectives is to reduce their employees, that's a tough decision that some companies have to make. Using some of my employees or all of my employees because I don't, make tough calls. You help make that possible with the efficiencies you bring.
Yeah, there's a really fascinating thing that happens, Kevin. As companies grow, they go and they hire that next person because now we need somebody to do X, or we need, instead of one person to do X, we need two. And what they don't realize is over the years, they start to hire people to perform tasks that really could be automated. And they even have a little bit of a mental block about what that automation looks like or what it might cost. And a lot of times they don't really believe that they can afford the kind of technology that can help automate those things. But when we come in, we do very, very detailed reviews of their accounting and finance processes, and we start identifying manual processes. We start identifying duplicate processes. We start identifying islands of data in multiple different systems that somebody has to reconcile on an ongoing basis. And when we start quantifying what that's actually costing them in the form of, the base comp of those people, the payroll taxes, the benefits, the fact they've got to take up space in the office, you've got to give them a laptop, there's a lot of costs associated with that. We tend to come in and show them, 200 to 300% return on investment if they implement the technology that we have. And the payback period is usually around 6 months between the time that we go in and do the implementation and the time that it's actually paid for itself and is starting to accrue, benefits to the bottom line.
Also, when you come on, you usually have a topic for us, a thought for the listener when it comes to taking their business to the next level. What do you have for us today with a few minutes left?
Yeah, what's really on my mind a lot these days, Kevin, is just automation. And I'm kind of thinking down the road in terms of what I see, the state of automation today in a middle market company, the state of automation tomorrow, and really thinking way out there, what could that be in kind of a futuristic type scenario. So, process automation today is what we have, where our systems have the ability to, automatically generate a report and send it out to people, or to capture data automatically from an interface with another system and show that on a dashboard, or maybe automatically generate the journal entries that the accounting department needs to do on a regular basis so that a person doesn't have to do that. And I could talk all day long about the types of process automation that we have in our software and just what's out there in general. But what I think is coming in the very near future is something called robotic process automation, and that sounds pretty futuristic already. But what that is the ability to train a computer to automatically do the data entry that a person might be doing today. So I'll give you an example. A vendor invoice comes in. Somebody needs to read that invoice, enter it into the system against that particular vendor's account, code it to the right expense account, et cetera, maybe put the due date in there for when that vendor needs to get paid. Well, what robotic process automation can do is actually read that invoice and based on the rules that you've trained it to do, actually enter that data into the accounting system. So if people are familiar with a macro, where you can record yourself moving your mouse on your computer and clicking on different things or entering different things, that's really what robotic process automation is. It's a macro on steroids. And if you think about the potential for that, instead of having your accounting clerk come in, Monday morning and work until Friday afternoon, take lunch breaks, et cetera, and not work in the evenings and the weekends, these things can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they can work, 5 to 10 times faster than the average human being. And they don't take breaks. They don't go on vacation. So that's an area that we're looking at implementing in our business in the very near future. So that's a cool thing to think about. That, the futuristic state of automation is something that we're not working in right now, but we certainly have got our eye on it, and that's an area called replicated ledgers. And what that is if you are familiar with Bitcoin, which is the online currency. What runs Bitcoin is basically just highly sophisticated encryption and mathematics that ensure that that currency is secure and legitimate. And what the these replicated shared ledgers are going to do in the future is basically allow two companies to do business with each other and not have to send each other invoices back and forth or even send each other cash back and forth. They can basically do a deal and connect online and do that deal, and both of their accounting systems will share the same information about that particular transaction and the same information about the payments related to those transactions. So there's nothing more to automate. You don't even have to have an accounting department at that point.
It's amazing. Marcus, got to end it with that. Act 2, that's ACCTTWO.com. Great as always. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
You did a great job. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here, including this interview, will be found over there at the national news website, usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.